Hi class, thanks for tuning in today. In this lesson we are going to be talking about diglossia and how that relates to our lives and the book. However, first, let's go into some hypotheticals. Now I want you guys to think about how you talk when you're just around your friends. Now I want you guys to think about how you talk when you're around your parents. Now I want you guys to think about how you talk when you're around me, your teacher. Chances are you don't talk the same way around all three of these groups, or even any of them. Depending on who we're with at a given point in time, we may talk in different ways or act differently, whether we do this consciously or not. What I just walked you guys through, hypothetical-wise, that is called diglossia, which I will go through the definition with you guys in a little bit. By the end of this lesson, you learners will be able to explain what diglossia means, and be able to identify diglossia in the novel we're reading, The Hate You Give, and hopefully your own lives. I will now read to you guys the definition of diglossia, which I got from the dictionary/Google. Diglossia is a situation where two languages or dialects are used under different conditions within a community, usually by the same speakers. When talking about languages, there is also usually a high variety and a low variety. To explain this, I'm going to use the example of Arabic. The high variety of Arabic would be Standard Arabic. This is the more formal variation. This is stuck in rules and does not change that often. This high variety would be used in news broadcasts, when writing a book or a paper, when giving a formal speech, contexts such as those. The low variety would be the many dialects used by the Arabic people. These are going to be the dialects that they use when talking to friends, the other people around them. And these are the dialects that are just constantly changing, constantly evolving as they are being used and over time. Another example of diglossia I will use from my own life. When I'm talking to my grandma, I'm going to be a bit more formal. I'm going to be a bit more nice. I'm going to be talking in a polite way and be all around probably more pleasant when I'm speaking. However, if I'm hanging out with my friends, I'm going to use a more relaxed tone. I'm going to crack jokes, I'm going to use slang, and I'm also probably going to swear a bit. Things I probably wouldn't do around my grandmother, at least not swear. In these different contexts around different people, I'm speaking in different ways. Now, I'm going to be talking about diglossia in the context of The Hate You Give, the novel we're reading together. I encourage you guys to take this second to pause the video, to grab your novel, and to open up to page 71 so we can go through this passage together. It is the first paragraph. I just have to be normal Star at normal Williamson and have a normal day. That means flipping the switch in my brain so I'm Williamson Star. Williamson Star doesn't use slang. If a rapper would say it, she doesn't say it. Even if her white friends do. Slang makes them cool. Slang makes her hood. Now I want you guys to think for a little bit about where do we see diglossia in this passage? And also think about, do you guys ever do this in your lives? In this passage, we see Star consciously making a decision to talk and act differently around her friends at Williamson, as opposed to her family and friends back in Garden Heights. We see her go to the extent of even describing there being a switch in her to switch from Star to Williamson Star. She thinks about what she says, how she says. She talks about how if a rapper would say it, she doesn't say it, even if her white friends do, because, quote, slang makes them cool, slang makes her hood. She is going so far to change how she talks and to speak in a more formal way so that her friends don't think less of her. Even if we may not think of it as formal, she goes thinking that this way of speaking is different, that this is a higher variety to her regular lower variety way of speaking. Alrighty guys, when we come back to class, we are going to be talking about diglossia, both the meaning and also diglossia in the novel and our lives. So, for homework, I am asking that you go through your novels and that you pick one passage that you think demonstrates diglossia. Do not use the passage from this lesson. Pick a different passage. It does not have to be about Star. It could be about any of the characters. All I ask is have a passage you think demonstrates diglossia and be prepared to justify why you think it demonstrates diglossia. Next, I would like you to think of 2 groups of people in your lives, be it your grandparents, your parents, teachers, friends, people you don't like, adults in general, anyone. I would like you to pick 2 groups of people in your life and describe how you talk to them. Just like how I described how I talk to my grandmother, how I'm more pleasant, how I'm more polite, how I'm more formal. I would like you to choose these 2 groups of people and describe how you talk to them. I encourage you to compare how you talk to these people, the similarities and differences between how you talk to them. And then I encourage you to think about why you talk to these groups the way you do. And maybe you don't think about it, maybe you do, but I encourage you to think about maybe why you do act the way you do around those groups. Just a reminder, like I said, we will be going over these passages and these groups in class, so use your best judgment. Talk about groups that you only feel comfortable sharing about in class and that other people would feel comfortable hearing about in class. Lastly, I hope that this lesson has got you thinking a little bit more about why you talk the way you do around some people. I encourage you guys to think about and try to spot diglossia in your own lives as you go about talking to people, to think about why you talk to those people that way. I also encourage you guys to maybe think about how you act around others, how that contributes to how you view yourselves, and how you want others to view you guys. I really hope you guys have a great day, and see you in class.